we're going to go ahead and get started. I think everybody did receive a copy of the agenda. The only change that's been made in the agenda is we're actually going to start with the linear, with a video clip or an other. And it sounds like we're kind of presenting. It's because most of our background is teaching, and we have a tendency to just take the ball and run with it like we've done in the classroom for so many years. So the only adjustment to the agenda is actually the change in the presentation of the Resilience Lab and linear. We're going to switch them up. Everything else is pretty much the same. We look forward to hearing from some of our leaders as we get towards the end of the agenda. And then we'll kind of set some charges there at the end as to what we expect as an outcome of this meeting today. So with that being said, we're going to jump right in. We're going to start with linear. Now, our levels of understanding may be different, so we're just going to take a couple of slides to look over what a linear is. It's a research reserve. It's protected areas, and it's supposed to represent various biogeographical regions and estuarine types in the United States. And this map clearly shows right here that Louisiana does not have one. And they're established as state and partnership for long-term research, education, and stewardship. Some of you have had this presentation, so you're familiar with this, but for others, the linear may be new. Now, we are under consideration for a linear, so it's good that our community organizations become familiar with what these benefits could mean for our area. It could mean an interpretive center, which is a storytelling component. And we know that the story here in our area is very rich. So we've got a lot to share. It's nature trails, a research field station. This would be something that would be kind of unique. Conference room, we kind of understand what that is. Overnight accommodations, boats, public access, docking facilities, weather station, public access for research, education, and stewardship. So not quite sure how it's all going to look, but want everyone to know that this could come to our area, and the Atchafalaya is under consideration. Now then, the new part is the person that is taking the lead in this search is a Professor Twilley. His name is Robert Twilley. He, for some of the people who work or know about the Wax Lake Delta, he is a state NOAA, I guess, liaison who has done like 30 years of research in this area. He comes in, he brings his students, and he goes back. He comes in, has been doing that for 30 years. So he's been chairing this. And he actually gave a presentation very recently in March of 2021 to the Pontchartrain group, who's also one of the areas under consideration. And in that presentation, he shared that there's 3 linear estuarine zones for candidate site proposals. There's 3 of them right now, and Atchafalaya did make the cut. That was shown in a presentation to the Pontchartrain estuarine, the Pontchartrain group. It was actually Pontchartrain Conservancy group that asked for the presentation. And some of us actually were able to sit in on that. And this is the slide that was shown. We were very excited to see the slide that Dr. Twilley showed. And the reason that we were excited is because they scored the areas. If you look over here, the Atchafalaya zone was the highest scoring zone of all. Now then, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It still means that we're still in the running, and this is a preliminary screening and voting on the 6 zones, and we came out very strong. So we're hopeful, but of course we're going to wait for the official announcement. So a total of 53 votes were received, and a summary of the results is provided. Considering majority vote, the Atchafalaya, Barataria, and Pontchartrain estuarine zones are going to be moving forward for further consideration in developing candidate near sites for nomination to NOAA. So once again, we're hopeful, and we're encouraged. But part of that is because of our leadership in this area. City of Morgan City, Town of Berwick, St. Mary Parish Government, St. Mary Parish School Board, and the Port of Morgan City all provided resolutions of support to say that this would be something that we want to see in our area. Ultimately, the decision will be made by the governor, and that, it's still, we're scoring well, but the governor will make the selection. And if we just think about the types of jobs created, we wanted to take a moment and think about those. We could kind of think, because we represent this area, we could probably see an increase in the tourist trade, in possibly the upkeep of the nature trails, of the maybe the scientists at this research station coming in, and more maybe scientists coming in and out of the boat access areas. So those are all really good things. It's going to really shine a light on our area, should we get it, and it's really going to increase the traffic flow through this area. So we're really excited that we are really scoring well, and it's because of the leadership shown by our local elected officials. So I'm going to pause for just a minute and see, Kelly, if you've gotten any questions that have come up.
Miss Monica, we don't have any questions popping up yet, but I did want to add on there that in that same Zoom meeting that Miss Monica's referring to with Dr. Twilley, we asked the question of what obstacles have they seen in sites being selected in the whole linear site process, in a near site selection process. And he mentioned, Dr. Twilley mentioned that the biggest obstacle were the ones in the trenches really not having any awareness that this project was going to happen. And so it was the job of those interested in this project to get that message across to people. And so I think it's important for anyone on this call or anyone that sees this meeting eventually to start speaking about this in the public. And if anybody has questions, we have slideshow presentations, we have links for you to do research. We're trying to get that message out, because when it comes to further down the timeline of the site selection, we don't want, our crabbers and our fishermen to say, wait, hold up, we don't want this here. We want to answer those questions for them. So if you guys can just start, if you're looking for conversation at a dinner party or having coffee, this is a great subject to bring up with your friends, because it affects everyone, not just the people that we're speaking to now.
Great points, Margaret. And that's what it's really about, because they're not going to bring an estuarine research facility to a place that's not embracing it, that's not ready for it, that, says, what is this?
Right.
We don't even know.
It's actually kind of a shocker that people don't know about this. We all should know about this, because I think everyone in here can agree that, our economy is kind of like in this, what's going to happen. And if for anything, we need our spirit lifted to bring people back in to stay and be more proud of our area and show our area. And this is a great way to highlight it. So if we could, tap into this conversation with everyone, the more that know about it, the better.
Excellent. So that's going to be coming up a little bit later, also in the comment, as to how people can get involved and how people can take this and work within their own organizations to just create a bigger awareness, in the grand scheme of things, so that we get more people involved. All right, any other comments or questions?
We don't have any questions coming in.
All right.
Well, please let us know if you need any links for more. Okay. Thanks.
All right. All right.
I
so
think, Miss Monica, one thing is maybe to go over like a time frame. We know that the road shows, the community road shows, are going to be happening in August, September, which will be something that we want to be prepared for, to show up for when they come here. And then what other timelines can we give the group here to know about for the linear?
Okay, well, I think the pandemic in some ways has kind of taken them off course just a little bit because, you know, it was a little more difficult. But seeing that they started preliminary screening and voting on these, narrowing it from 6 to 3 gives me great hope that they'll, you know, get back to a more, I guess, time sensitive, because to us, it's very time sensitive. We need this like yesterday, in my opinion. But I'm hopeful that by the end of the summer that they will have, you know, moved this thing quite forward and maybe, you know, have zeroed in. But it is going to take a public town hall meeting before the final selection is made. So that charge that Margaret gave in just making people aware, you know, getting the message out, sharing it with others is really important so that we all show up and that we all, you know, are ready. But I see something happening late summer.
And we'll keep you updated on the St. Mary Excel Facebook page for any timelines
anytime
or
we get
information.
anything. That's a great thought, Kelly. Anything else? Okay, thank you. And once